So look, let's get going. I want to know why you know, I've never met these people. How do you get 3 people?
We're actually related to you. We're your children.
I'm your son.
I'm your daughter.
Am I going to be casting this as the dinosaur? Is that it?
No. But I do want to welcome everybody. So let's have a little toast. Okay. This is cast 7.
Ooh.
Wow.
Lucky 7s.
Yeah.
Got to hit everybody.
Cheers and look in the eyes.
All right. You brought up a good point, David. This particular cast.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Has been in the making for like 3 months. This is the one I've been waiting for, okay? This is a subject that, you know, I'm really passionate about, and we wanted this to be right. So let me just go around and kind of give you, everybody, a little look-see at who you are. I'll talk a little bit about who you are, and then we're just going to get right into it.
Yeah,
cool?
I hope we don't disappoint you.
You're not going to disappoint me. All right, we'll start over here. This is Ondi Timoner, and
it's true.
And your film, We Live in Public, I just saw it 2 days ago. Amazing. I'm still thinking about it. It's one of these kinds of films that you see it and you're thinking about it for days on end. You just don't even, it interfaces every single part of your life. So Sean, yes. Dunne,
yep.
You're kind of representing the next generation here.
It's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it is a big responsibility. I've seen 3 different projects of yours. The Archive, which, you know, I told you, I sort of started watching that going, ooh, this is, and then it sucked me in, man. That was really something, you know. I totally dig what you're doing there. And the Buckles thing, very interesting. I think David would really appreciate that. You need to check that out.
I will.
And
I'll hit you up on Facebook.
Exactly. And now we come to David, which I kind of grew up with David, so I don't know, some people might not know of you, but to me, I've learned so much from you I can't even tell you. When you answered my email and you said you were going to be here, I just ran downstairs here and said, Scott, David Grubin's going to be on our little show. Can you believe it? It's incredible. I mean...
I'm not that old.
But I learned, I mean, I didn't go to film school. So I really learned filmmaking a lot from you. I mean, I watched every single one, JFK, RFK, LBJ, TR, everything. I've watched everything. And not only filmmaking, I really learned about history from watching your stuff. You know, everybody needs to see your work too. It's incredible. It's like a part of America, and I'm really thrilled you're here.
That's very kind.
So anyways, so the premise here is that David represents television, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. You're the interesting one here. You kind of represent the web. You know, your work is out there on the web. Your piece has 500,000 views. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And Ondi here represents the motion picture screen. I want to do a little game, and we're going to kind of start this off with a little game. And then we're going to get into this just intense discussion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read something to Ondi here, and I want Ondi to tell you, and then I want you to tell Dave.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to whisper this in Ondi's ear.
Oh, is that, okay.
Okay, so.
I don't know what's going on.
You're not in on this?
No, I'm not in on it. It's a joke on you.
Right, it's going to end up on me.
Yeah.
Want me to do it again?
Yeah.
Yes, you have to remember that?
I guess.
Did you play that game when you were a kid?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm wondering if this is supposed to prove some sort of, I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying not to listen.
Yeah.
Is it like a telephone?
You need to be talking to me.
Yeah, I'm trying.
It's good.
Yeah. Is it like that game when you were a kid?
It's kind of like telephone. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit.
There's
Let's
a
see what
great,
happens.
Saw the Wit piece where he has somebody.
No, I got it. I think that's the point, right?
Well, tell David.
I'm not allowed to say that.
No, tell David. He has to tell me.
In my ear. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wait. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, here we go.
This is good. Let's see if it works.
I don't know what you're going for, but something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
A girl walks into town, it's 1933, she's holding something green and she's smoking endo.
Okay, well this is what I said. A girl rocks into town. It's 4 o'clock in 1933. My hair is green and I'm smoking oaken. So there was about how many airs in there? 6?
I don't think I got anything right. The 1933.
Yeah, you got that she went to town.
All right. Well,
No.
so then I'm going to direct this right to you.
You mean it's about history and memory?
How do I know that what you're telling me is what happened?
Well, it's a good question because I think when you're creating a history program, you are using your imagination to shape all of these facts. And the difference is between history, though, and when it's a fiction film, is that I try to root my imagination in the world. So I send my programs before they're done out to scholars, and they nitpick it pretty well and make sure that the person rocked into town and didn't walk into town. Now, if you're asking a deeper question, a very deep question of how do we know anything about history, I mean, I do think we don't create our history. I do think we discover the history, although I know a lot of people differ with that. But that's a philosophical discussion you don't want to get into right now.
But we went 3 generations here, and I watched your piece on TR.
Right.
So I'm assuming that somebody was with TR and they were charging up the hill there, and he told a story and glamorized it a little bit, and then some other cat wrote a book about it, and then you took that book and you made a film about it. How do I know that any of that is true?
Yeah, well, there are letters, there are different testimony about what happened at San Juan Hill, and you try to put them all together. I mean, I'm trying to root this thing in the real world as much as I can and tell a story that way.
Yeah, but here's the part that I always loved about your films. Your films don't just tell history, and we're going to get to Ondi in a second here. Your films give you little interesting tidbits about the person and his personality. Like, I mean, I just think of that RFK, where he was standing in front after JFK was killed, and you said that there was 40 minutes of applause, and the narrator says, and he walked out on the balcony and wept. That sounds amazing. Was there any creative license in any of that?
I wouldn't make any of that up. There was somebody who witnessed that, and so I used that. But when you're making these films, you have all these, it's a jumble of information, just like when you guys work. It's the same thing. You're just inundated with all this stuff. So the idea is to choose the pieces of that stuff that tells the story that you want to tell. And I'm interested in the drama of personality and how it intersects with history. So I'm looking for details that will give you that, but in a way it's not much different than you guys. You're just...
Well, I want to direct that same question to Ondi. How do I know that you or Josh aren't, like, for instance, I went home and my wife said, so what's this movie about that you're getting all hyped up about? I said, I sort of, she's not going to know about all this video jazz and all that. So I said, well, it's kind of about this guy that claims he invented the internet. That's how I phrased it. But how do I know that 100 years from now, I thought Al Gore invented the internet. I mean.
He did.
Okay, but how do I know that, I say one thing, you said another thing, you said another thing? How do I know that you and or Josh didn't sort of overblow his importance in the internet?
Well, I think it's really important just for anybody who has seen We Live in Public or wants an accurate read of it to know that we never claimed Josh invented anything in particular. I wasn't making this film to tout Josh Harris as the inventor of the internet. But I think you never know. You can't ever look at any film and think this is an absolute 100% accurate read of history or of anything, because you always have the filmmaker in between you and that subject.
So are we claiming that we're all, in one way or another, as documentary filmmakers, revision historians?
Here's the thing. If I was making a fiction film, I could say whatever I want. You could say whatever you want about that person. If I found out that your character, or your guy, was an actor, it would change everything, because the bargain that we're making with the viewer, the pact that we have, is that this person is real. And it's too easy for us to then, if it weren't true, because...
Yeah, but I'm trying to define what is true. That's what I'm trying to define.
Here's a film that you've got to look into. It's called My Suicide. Okay, it won Berlin. These guys were introduced to us by a guy named The Dude. you know who the dude is, Jeff Dowd, who, you know, the dude in Big Lebowski is based on this crazy individual who's amazing. And he's like, you gotta come meet the guys from My Suicide. Well, My Suicide would be the most incredible film. It's very, very incredible, but it would be the most incredible film ever made if that character was real. And for the first 5 to 10 minutes, you think he is. You really do. And it's such a come down. What you just said, it's that moment when you realize he's not real.
But then it's when you're making your films, it's your take on these people. Somebody else might have a whole different way of seeing it. So we're not trying to say that it's absolute truth. We're saying it is a relative truth, but it is rooted in some sort of reality.
Well, like, okay, so let me take this a different way. So when you watch the news, it used to be when we watched the news in the 70s, and I think we have, you heard Walter Cronkite. I remember my dad saying, if he says it, it's true. But I watch the news now, and it's like, I put on CNN, it's like one story. I put on Fox, it's a whole nother story. It's the same story, but completely different. It's like...
Here's another way I'd say it. I think when we go out and we make our films, we're exploring, we're trying to find out the best that we can what the truth is. When Michael Moore goes out, I think he knows in advance what he wants to say. And then he's trying to say that. That's more of a propaganda filmmaker. And I'm not making one better or worse. We're trying to figure it out. We're searching to understand.
I kind of do both, though. I know what I want someone to say, and I'll get it out of them.
Oh, definitely.
I definitely go in there with a goal, and if it's not happening there, it'll happen in the edit room. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, you discover in the edit room what you...
Yeah, exactly. They said these things.
But you're following, I think I remember from seeing your short at Sundance, you're following things over time too, right?
Yeah, kind of. I try to just do a little, here's the moment, and...
No, I think he's more in the moment.
Yeah, and just...
I'm in the moment too. That's the thing, I'm not going in there with an agenda necessarily of what I want people to say until I've been editing, because I'm following films over time.
Then you're imposing your point of view, which you need to do. You can't make the film unless you do that.
I have no idea what's going to happen when I start making a film. None. I mean,
that's what an artist does. An artist.
But you know, she's in her film. She actually lived in this bunker, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So no, I mean, but that's kind of interesting.
I would never have checked into that bunker if he hadn't called me to document that. Never.
So did you actually live like those other people?
Yeah, I had a pod, and when I'm filming, I have no idea what's going to happen. So I capture it the best that I can by being deep in it, but also being an observer.
It's first person. You make a first person project. You make a first person project. You rarely make a first person project.
No, I'm not giving my point of view the whole time.
No, I mean that you know the guy that you're documenting. David does not, he's rarely met the people he's documenting.
I didn't know him when he called me.
I meant...
Well, yeah, it's not JFK.
Yeah, he's telling stories about people that are...
RFK. But,
RFK, I love RFK. I got to see that one.
Yeah, but the thing is that, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you may know what you're trying to find, but what's fun about making documentaries is they always come up, the subject, with things much more interesting than you can ever imagine.
That's true.
And they surprise you all the time, and the stuff that you find is more interesting in, let's say, the interview than what you have on your agenda. And that's what makes great documentary, when the guy says, oh my God, I never thought of that.